There's been plenty of stuff happening behind closed doors today. Just what is Lake Wendouree going to do about the Ben Taylor suspension?
Yeah, very disappointing from our point of view. We felt that it was a fair contest. Obviously, it was reported early in the week from the Sunbury coaching staff that it was an off-the-ball incident and a cowardly act. If anyone actually saw the incident, happened at a stoppage situation. And a centre clearance, both were going for the ball, and Ben Jordan had the ball in his hands when the bump was actually laid, and we believe there was no head-high contact. It's obviously been extremely disappointing from the club's point of view, but also Ben's point of view in terms that he's never been rubbed out before. He's a premium on-baller. He'd probably be one of the favourites for the league medal, and for him not to be running out on Sunday would be extremely disappointing, I think, for the football public. And just the circumstances that it's happened in from our point of view, and especially from a coach's point of view, to question one of our players in terms of his ability to, a cowardly act was fairly strong words, an off-the-ball incident, and the ball was certainly there. And that's probably the most disappointing thing, is they've actually attacked his character, which anyone that knows Ben Taylor and his interleague performances and his reputation as a footballer inside the BFL competition would never ever use those sorts of words. And to the general public and the umpire's opinion, it was no free kick, no Sunbury player remonstrated, and then all of a sudden we've got a great young kid missing out on 2 weeks of football, and finals football at that. Obviously it's a new system in terms of the video review, and we understand that that's a new process that's come in this year. We understand that there's going to be some falls in that regard in terms of the process there, but to not really call on the umpires as witnesses, and 3 of them had a perfectly clear view of it. So we certainly will be appealing that decision.
It's a pretty hefty fee. It's $5,500, and if you don't win, then that money all goes.
Yep.
You must feel pretty strongly about it to be spending that sort of money.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel it was defamation of one's character. To make those sorts of cowardly, use those sorts of words off the ball incident, where it was clearly in a stoppage situation, the ball was in his hands, so it was fabricating a story to start with, and that's how this whole thing has been generated. And I firmly believe, and I was at that stoppage situation, and it was the 3 umpires' opinions at that stoppage situation, as well as the Sunbury players, not to remonstrate. And it's sort of tongue-in-cheek stuff to think Sunbury's reputation. I'm sitting here with a black eye. One of Rick's players actually was sent off the ground by the umpire, reported for striking, got done for 2 weeks in an off-the-ball incident. So for him to come out in the newspaper and use those words against Ben Taylor, I think is utterly disappointing and disgraceful from another senior coach in the BFL. I think it doesn't do any justice to the best player and one of the best players in the competition, or promote the league at all. So yeah, we're extremely disappointed, especially personally from a coaching point of view.
You feel so strongly about the case that you've all gone in and got some big wigs from Melbourne to have a look at it. And Ian Findlay, is he going to be representing you at the BC?
Oh, listen, we've explored all avenues, and his advice to us is that we should strongly contest the case. So we're going off the advice of the experts, and obviously we've got to move forward, and the coaching staff have got to move on to North City this week. So we're going to let our committee look after that side of things, but I'm under the standing at this point that we'll be certainly pursuing that path.
If you're missing Tamanello, possibly with an ankle, as well as Ben Taylor, as well as possible another 1 or 2,
yep,
it's pretty tough going into a match like this.
Yeah, but it gives some other young kids an opportunity to represent our football club. We're very strong on our benchmarks and our trademarks and the image that we want to withhold within the Ballarat Football League. So they'll just come in and try to do a job in the same role that Ben or Tamanello or any other player would do at that point. So we've used 36 players on our list. Your finals, you've always got to adjust to these situations. So we're pretty strong in the message that we want to send this week, that we're right behind Ben Taylor and 100% of this from the players' point of view as well.
So, just to go over, so Tamanello is out for certain?
50-50, go.
McMahon?
He's probably 60-40.
Anyone else that's from an
No,
injury
apart
point of
from
view?
that, Gavin Webb has started back running this week, so that's a positive sign after being out with a rib injury, and also Brent Olszewski will probably make his return this week as well.
I mean, I guess that if you could bring in Brent for perhaps McMahon as a forward, but what do you do for the extra midfielder? Do you have any thoughts on who might play the role that Ben would play if he doesn't play?
Given my opinion on this, and if we do appeal it, I'd strongly think that Ben Taylor will play on the video footage that I've seen and the evidence that I've heard from the umpires. So, listen, we've got a number of people to roll through that position. I think the modern game's moved past his 1 or 3 on ball as being on there at the one time.
Yep.
There's a number of players that go through there. So we've got a number of options that we generally rotate through there. So we're never going to cover a character like Ben Taylor. He's obviously the captain of our club, a fantastic leader and a great ambassador for our footy club and also the VFL. So it's extremely disappointing that we're here talking about maybe one of the premium on-ballers not being here, just from an off-the-cuff comment, basically, and one that was certainly fabricated. We probably should talk about the game now, should we, Rob?
Yeah, okay.
Just filled the back 8 pages, Gav.
Yeah, I know.
How many times have you actually heard me do a comment like that, do you reckon, Gav? Do I ever speak out of turn?
No, you're usually pretty close to the chest with the cards, yep. The game, we can talk about the game. They defeated you earlier in the year. I think that did you get them back after that, so you won a piece?
Only played them
You've
once.
only played them once, played them once. Obviously you'll try to do something differently to what you did last time, because what will be different this time from your point of view?
Oh, listen, probably not a lot bar our execution.
Yeah.
We certainly know the way North City want to play, and they're playing extremely good football at the moment, coming into their first final series. I guess some of their keys are around their midfield, but I think if you look on their flanks, and they've just got players that are playing their roles at the moment, not trying to do too much. They've got a really good spine, so we've got some steps in place that we believe that maybe there's a couple of areas we can get on top of them in. They'll have some worries of their own in terms of our players as well, so it should be a really exciting match.
In any way will you go more defensive than you did last time? No? In terms of locking down on blokes that got free last time you played them? Because they were very good in that spread, of course.
Yeah, maybe, Gav.
Maybe. Okay, all right, sure. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Back on to KG Batters for the last question.
Okay.
Beat that, Robbie.
Rob,
Right angle fire.
you must be thanking your lucky stars. There's a possibility that Tamanello, Taylor and McMahon, the arguably three best Lakers players, could be out. Finals, all sorts of things come up, and you wouldn't be prepared for this one.
Yeah, Sean, look, I'm pretty certain, though, come Sunday, they'll still have 22 blokes out in the ground, so it won't matter who they have and who they don't have. We've just heard a couple of blokes at 50-50 and 70-40. I spoke to Paul McMahon Monday morning, and he said he'd play, no worries. Tamanello I'm not quite sure about, but we played Lakers early in the year too, and we had 4 or 5 hour plays and we won as well, so I'm not taking nothing away from who they're in, who they got out. It doesn't matter. They'll be Lake Wendouree versus North Ballarat City, and they'll be 22 on 22.
You've been in sensational form against Melbourne South last week. Did they play you into form, and could you be any more confident going into this game?
We've started our finals campaign about 6-7 weeks ago, so we've really turned it up. So we're just coming to home. We knew we would. We knew what we're doing inside very well for our club. It's going well at the moment. But it's finals footy, and it does happen, and we just happened to play good last week in the second half, and it shows that when we're up and firing, and as Batters said, players play their role, we're a very good team.
Just what were your expectations going into this season, and have you already exceeded those?
Depends who you ask. If you ask Steve Darby, our president, he's wrapped, but from a playing point of view, we spoke on November the 12th to win the flag this year. So, anything less than that's a fail on my behalf, the coaching staff's behalf.
Just when you came into this side, there was a lot of enthusiasm and optimism, and a lot of people doubted that, but really you've proved it this year.
Yeah, look, we knew what we had inside, but look, we were very, I think Gav put in the paper a couple of weeks, we were the youngest team in the competition, which we knew that. A lot of our leadership group are 21 and 22 years of age. We have 3 players over 24 in the club, and one of those being 30. So we knew we were very young. We're a very good developing club at the moment. As same as the previous 2 coaches, we've had 37 blokes play senior footy this year. And look, we're just moving on nicely, and we'll be bigger and better the next couple of years.
Do you think that the current stuff which is going around Lakers at the moment is a distraction, and could that possibly get their mind off the ball a little bit?
Oh, look, they're pretty switched on. The blokes just beside me here, I think you know what's going on. Like, they'll move through. He mentioned the committee's looking after their appeal. What happens. We can't control that, so I don't really care.
Do you feel that this week things have fallen in your favour as a group? Does that sort of like...
In regards to...
With regard to injuries and also the Ben Taylor situation, you've had a relatively easy game yourselves, whereas they had a tough one. Do you feel that perhaps in some ways things are, as a group, falling your way this week?
Oh, look, maybe from outside, Gav. Like I said, for our football club internally, we're just going through what we can control. So I don't take too much what's in the papers and bits and pieces here and there. We just worry about what we can control. And if that affects them, well, that's great for us. But our blokes, as of last night, vision before training last night, our team, we just focus on what we can control. And that's what I'm worried
about. In terms of, did you get out of it free in terms of any new injuries?
Oh, look, we had a couple of boys, just a bit, a couple of corkies here and there. What to imagine every team's got this year in the final series. Some sore bodies there. The boys did a recovery on after the game and Monday morning and last night. So we'll be okay. There's sore bodies. There's sore bodies in every team. But touch wood, across the board, we're okay.
Good, I think.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that, Rob.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Dave.
Thank you.